This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other.
Next Monday, we start to get in a room for maybe a first few flakes.
They haven't been fair. They haven't been impartial.
Shoeboxes themselves are filled with joy.
Catastrophic pumpkin going down the street.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. SNAP support restored. Moments before the noon deadline today, the Trump administration agreed to fund the SNAP food program during the government shutdown, but only partially. CBS's Vicki Barker.
There's only enough money in the SNAP program's contingency fund to pay about half the normal level of benefits this month, and it's not clear how long it'll take even those reduced benefits to reach the 1 in 8 Americans who rely on them, nor what will happen in December if the government shutdown hasn't ended by then.
In the interim, a church in Tonawanda, New York has teamed up with the city and local farmers to distribute food to those who went to use their SNAP cards on Saturday and found that they were empty.
A lot of people have been expressing their fear and concern over not getting food and am I going to starve to death? I actually had a phone conversation with someone about that yesterday. Very sad. No, people are not going to starve on our watch.
Lumber City Church Hope Center told WIVB they're hosting a food distribution event from 4 until 7 p.m. tonight.
We're not turning anybody away. God loves us all. We're brothers and sisters, and we live in this community together.
There are last-minute pushes happening all over the country today on Election Eve. President Trump unofficially endorsed Andrew Cuomo for New York City mayor. He said anyone but Zohran Mamdani would have his bid.
I'm not a fan of Cuomo one way or the other, but if it's going to be between a bad Democrat and a communist, I'm going to pick the bad Democrat all the time, to be honest with you.
Trump also said if Mamdani, a self-proclaimed socialist, wins, New York will be getting a lot less money from the federal government.
It's going to be hard for me as the president to give a lot of money to New York because if you have a communist running New York, all you're doing is wasting the money you're sending there.
Mamdani walked the Brooklyn Bridge at dawn this morning, flanked by Attorney General Tish James and a sign that read, "Our time is now." Trump also weighed in on Pennsylvania's Supreme Court race. 3 Democratic justices are up for another 10-year term. ABC 27's Dennis Owens.
President Trump took to social media last night to say no, no, and no, calling them radical and liberal and woke. He added, quote, "They unlawfully gerrymandered your congressional maps, which led to my corrupt impeachments and locked you up during COVID by closing your small businesses, schools, and churches." Now, Governor Josh Shapiro, who is urging everyone to vote yes, 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 countered with a post of his own saying Donald Trump has zero credibility when it comes to the rule of law.
We've got more on that race coming up in a few minutes. There's speculation that former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi may not run for another term in 2026. The 85-year-old California Democrat set to make an announcement about her political future after Tuesday's elections. The U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments Wednesday this week on the legality of President Trump's tariff plan. The focus will be on Trump using a law meant for times of emergency to impose the duties without the help of Congress. The High Court has agreed to fast-track the case. The tariffs will stay in place until the court makes a decision. President Trump is threatening U.S. military action at the nation of Nigeria continues to allow the killing of Christians. Trump said he's instructed the Department of War to prepare for possible action in Nigeria and said it would be, quote, fast, vicious, and sweet. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Michael Waltz, tells Fox News.
We work a lot with the Nigerians, and what the president is saying is, I'm not going to put this as a back burner issue. This is an upfront issue, and Nigeria, you need to take it more seriously. Look, they've been fighting these insurgents, but it's been kind of up and down over the years.
Some estimates suggest more than 50,000 Christians have been killed in Nigeria since 2009. In the first 7 months of 2025, 7,000 Christians have been killed. And if you're looking for some side dish ideas for Thanksgiving dinner, Kraft just unveiled apple pie flavored mac and cheese. The limited time dish combines mac and cheese with cinnamon and green apple. Kraft calls it, quote, daring, and delicious. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, a deep dive into the Supreme Court race in Pennsylvania, wind advisories in place for some, and Operation Christmas Child in full swing. But weather, next.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast for tonight. Showers around this evening, especially across portions of New York State, widely scattered in northern Pennsylvania. Otherwise, clouds break late, breezy, low temps, mid-30s to low 40s. Tomorrow, some sunshine, breezy, high temps, 50s. Then on Wednesday, turning cloudy with showers arriving from west to east. Gusty winds developing with high temperatures Wednesday in the 50s.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Our lead story today is the weather. If you live along Lakes Erie in Ontario, there's a high wind advisory out till 10 p.m. We already have reports of a 46-mile-an-hour wind gust in Buffalo and in Warsaw.
Even at 9 p.m., those of you near the lake shores, specifically both of them, could still find some gusts at least into the 40-mile-per-hour range, and then it fades out slowly a bit more overnight.
And say it isn't so, but WIVB is reporting next week we could see a little snow.
Next Monday, we start to get into room for maybe a first few flakes. Not huge amounts, but that's the first opportunity.
High stakes election. It is being called the most important retention race in Pennsylvania history. Residents of the Keystone State are being encouraged to get to the polls tomorrow as the fate of 3 Democratic state Supreme Court justices hangs in the balance. Justices Christine Donahue, Kevin Doherty, and David Wecht, each seeking another 10-year term. The decision will impact redistricting maps and abortion in the Keystone State. Pennsylvania Democratic Chair Eugene DePasquale.
You want to make sure that we have competent jurists on the bench that are recommended by nonpartisan bar association. If you want to make sure that the court belongs to the people of Pennsylvania, then vote yes.
Guy Jarocki, a writer for Real Clear Pennsylvania and Broad Plus Liberty, says he believes voters should say no.
A judge, especially a Supreme Court judge, should be fair, impartial, and follow the Constitution. Time and time again, they haven't. They've acted as partisans. They've acted as super legislators.
Jarocki says conservatives need to come out in droves tomorrow to protect religious freedom and the unborn and unseat the trio.
They haven't been fair. They haven't been impartial. They haven't used common sense. And in many cases have not followed the rule of law. These are not people to give another 10-year term.
Polls are open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. in Pennsylvania tomorrow and 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. for elections in New York. New York Attorney General Letitia James is trying to throw a wrench into the Trump administration's investigation of cases she brought against the president and the National Rifle Association. Family Life's Jeremy Miller reports.
Newly unsealed court documents show the AG filed a motion in August to block subpoenas issued by acting U.S. Attorney John Sarcone for records related to the cases. She also argued that Sarcone had been improperly appointed to his position and lacked legitimate authority to authorize those subpoenas. James's lawyers in her mortgage fraud case say they intend to challenge the appointment of the prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, on similar grounds. Jeremy Miller, Family Life News.
A large climate change case is heading back to the courts in New York State. A state Supreme Court justice agreed with the Department of Conservation, which testified it would fall far short of climate laws to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the Empire State by 40% by 2030 and 80% by 2050. Lawyers for the DEC testifying it would, quote, put extraordinary and damaging costs on New Yorkers to comply. Kathy Hochul's team urged her to make changes to the law instead of filing an appeal, but on Friday, she said she's taking it back to court. And Operation Christmas Child is shifting into high gear this month. That included a shoebox packing party in Canandaigua, New York over the weekend with gifts that are heading to hurricane-ravaged Jamaica. OCC's Finger Lakes area coordinator Diana Schaefer tells WHAM News.
They show that we love them and that they're loved. Shoeboxes themselves are filled with joy and everything that they might need.
Volunteers packed more than 300 shoeboxes to send to Jamaica to help those dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Operation Christmas Child boxes will be accepted at numerous churches and other locations in the area. National Collection Week is November 17th through the 24th. Next at 5, a sit-down with Dr. Ralph Kerr of the Teaching and Learning Institute. It's Issues in Education. We begin with New York's bell-to-bell cell phone ban. Let's listen in.
What have you noticed in the first couple of months of New York's bell-to-bell cell phone ban?
Well, what I've noticed is that there's a lot more positivity coming out of it than I really thought there would be. I thought teachers would be spending a lot of time arguing about put your phone away, put it down, take it out to your locker, that kind of thing. But instead of that, I think the students have learned that there are boundaries in life, which is a pretty good lesson to learn. And they've really responded well. And I think teachers are noting that there's better social interaction amongst the students themselves. There's more efficient use of class time because the teachers are not involved in monitoring the use of the cell phones. There's even been some reduction in cheating and misuse because it's obviously the students could look information up on their cell phones. The final thing I just mentioned is that teachers have noticed students are handling conflicts much better in that they're forced to handle them face-to-face. And that's another good outcome of this cell phone ban.
Yeah, and the mental health issues as well. We could get into that. Spend a whole program on that one. Right. But that's been another great impact from this ban. But I want to move on, and we'll talk more about the cheating thing, too, in a minute. But first, I want to talk about artificial intelligence because that is always a topic now in education. According to the College Board, 84% of students use AI in some form to do schoolwork and homework. I'm wondering, Ralph, if that's a good or a bad thing. And do you think districts are adjusting well to this emerging technology?
Well, I really think that the whole AI topic in everything, but especially in education, is kind of a work in progress. Teachers are sort of feeling their way through. Boards are developing policy around the use of AI, which I think is a really good thing. And there's constant discussion amongst administrators and teachers themselves about developing procedures that will allow the students to use AI in appropriate ways, but discourage them from using AI in inappropriate ways. And as I said, it's a work in progress to make sure that this is a good thing for education.
Yeah, because there's no putting that genie back in the bottle.
Absolutely.
It's out. How are you going to deal with it?
You can subscribe, listen to, and share Issues in Education and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
Today, I have 3 questions worth thinking deeply about. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute. The questions come from financial planner George Kinder. The first is, what would you do if you had all the time and money in the world? Second, how would you live if you knew you only had 5 to 10 years left? And third, what would you regret if you died tomorrow? The point isn't that we'll ever have endless resources or time, but rather these questions invite us to reflect on what truly matters, where our hearts rest, how we spend our time, and what we treasure most. Bring these questions before the Lord. Ask Him to shape your desires, and as the psalmist prayed, teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, what would you do if your pricey fall decorations started blowing away? It was all hands on deck for one family, even Dad at work. That story after one last look at weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. A cold front crossing the area tonight, spotting some stray showers early. Will be followed by high pressure that'll build in for a pleasant day tomorrow. A more potent system will arrive, though, midweek with wind and rain and unsettled weather to carry us through the rest of the week. Our call for tonight, showers around this evening, especially across portions of New York State, widely scattered in northern Pennsylvania. Otherwise, clouds break late, breezy, low temps, mid-30s to low 40s tomorrow. Some sunshine, breezy, high temps 50s. Then on Wednesday, turning cloudy with showers arriving from west to east. Gusty winds developing with high temperatures Wednesday in the 50s.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally at 5, more on gusty winds and a mom who got carried away with some fall decorations over the weekend. Literally.
What do I do?
The Morgan family's docile decorations not so docile after a 10-foot tall inflatable pumpkin came dislodged in the wind and wreaked havoc. When Mom Katie tried to tie it down, it began to pick her up off the ground, with her 4- and 7-year-old sons looking on.
I thought it was going to take out the neighborhood, hit the cars. I was just thinking that I was going to be dealing with the aftermath of the catastrophic pumpkin going down the streets.
Apparently, her husband was watching the whole thing, too, from work after their boys alerted him to keep an eye on the family Ring camera.
Leopold, it's Dad. Can you hear me? Hey, buddy, unplug it.
Dad Chris trying to calm the family to no avail.
I'm trying to put instructions over to the boys, and they're just so excited and screaming and laughing at the same time.
No moms or pumpkins were harmed in the making of this scene. That Ring Cam video, though, went viral with more than 6 million views. Next time, pop some popcorn and just watch it all blow away. And that's the world that we live in for Monday, the 3rd of November. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.